In today's episode, I'm checking out the Pedal Pal PAL 800, that's all I have to say, V3. This is, like all of their pedals, some kind of Marshall clone. That's what they do, and they have mastered it as far as I'm concerned. They perfected cloning the Marshall sound, not recorded Marshall sound. Sometimes that's very confusing for players. They talk about Marshall type pedals out there in the market. There's some great ones. As you know, we even have a lot of friends on the channel that make a lot of great pedals, including some of the Marshall clone style pedals. Their pedals are more about capturing the amplifier, not so much what it was like in recordings and songs, but the actual amplifier, giving that magic to you. These are so good, you could just run them right into some kind of cab simulation, power simulation type effect, like the Cab M by 2 Notes or something like that, and you'd be ready to go. The other thing you can do is run it right into the effects return of an amplifier, and again, just use this as a Marshall preamp, and it really shines. Today, I'm going to be doing just that. I'm running right into the effects return of my Engl Fireball 25. So I'm only using the power section and a 112 Vintage 30 speaker on that amplifier, mic'd up, and I'm going to be using just a little bit of reverb, and that's it. That's all I've got. So let's hear this thing. First, let's hear the clean. So you can see it's a very, very clean. And again, a little bit of reverb. I'm using the Keeley Caverns. That's kind of like my go-to for reverb and delay. I just have that on the floor. So let's go ahead and turn this thing on and see what it's got. Here we go. In the room, it sounds huge. It sounds like a Marshall. Now, if you're wondering, what happens if you run it in the front of an amplifier? Nothing. If you run it in front of your amplifier, as long as you run your EQ flat, this will definitely be the dominant sound. But again, sometimes you just have to blend those two. I just wanted to really highlight the power of what they've done. As you can see, I'm running my EQ pretty flat. I have the bass, the treble in the middle, almost straight up, a little bit more extra treble, a little bit less bass, a little bit more mid-range. That's kind of how I like it. You have a 3-way switch, and believe it or not, there's 3 voicings. And what's nice about that is they're going to be great for like what we talked about a minute ago, which is if you plug it into a normal amplifier, maybe your Katana amplifier, maybe your Fender amplifier, and you have an EQing in there, and this has EQing, this switch will help you kind of compensate for what the amp's doing. So if you have a really trebly amp, you can darken it up, go to that middle position. If you have a really dark amplifier, you can brighten it up, go to the down position, and then of course the top I think is kind of in the middle of that. So again, you have 3 voices. Let's go to the bottom. I think this is going to be the brightest. It's really nice in a gig situation. You're playing your amp, it's really bright or really dark, and you don't want to have to adjust all the settings. You can just kind of see if the switch will kind of help the situation. But what this does really well that I really kind of always go back to is when I say it kind of copies the Marshall sound really well, or does that Marshall sound really well, it does not just the distortion, that's what you can hear. In the room playing through this thing, it has that Marshall sustain. Marshalls don't have the most amount of gain. They are kind of a mid-gain amp. They're not as gainy as the 5150, the Engl amplifiers, diesel, but they always had that sustain. And this pedal gives you that. You can really feel it. And it's probably because they're running some JFETs in there, and they fine-tune these. This is something I've talked about in all the videos about their pedals. There are 2 builders. There's Luis and Alvaro, great guys, and they fine-tune every single one that goes out to you. I'm not kidding. They literally test each one, not to see if it works. They fine-tune the JFETs to make sure that they're exactly right. Okay, so let's go to another feature on the pedal, which is this 6 dB boost. You really feel it kick in when you hit it. Let me give you the before and after. That's That's sick. I mean, it works great. Last, you have this option 34. So I would imagine the down position, it's going to act like a thickening agent where the notes will be just a little bit more. Up position. Yeah, definitely worked. Me personally, I just leave it, if down is on, I don't know what on and off is, but whatever down is, I'd leave it there all the time. Yep, definitely down with that boost. Usually when you run Marshalls, the louder you run them, the more gain, the more low end you get out of a Marshall. So it's doing that same thing, which is why I don't want to dime the gain, because then it's going to get flubby. Turn that down. Yeah, see, to me, I want to run the gain about just a little past halfway, and then boost it. And again, I like on Marshalls to always run more highs than lows. It seems unintuitive, but it's what I like. This feature alone is what I really like. And the reason is because I don't always want this amp dimed out. And that's what I like about this. It's about rolling back. Let me show you an example. Let me show you before I go. Here's the gain. Here it is clean. As always, you've already helped the channel if you made it this far. Just watching the videos to the end does more than anything else, and that's why I appreciate you that hang out to the end. As always, guys, I want to thank you for your time. Till the next time, know your gear.